Hello there, welcome to Code with Laticotech. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a web page using Notepad editor. Okay, we have different code editors, but we're going to use Notepad because it's one of the common editors that we can find in most operating systems. Now, HTML and CSS and JavaScript, these are the three main components that is used to get complete websites working. Okay, but before that, we need to concentrate on what HTML is, and then we look at what the HTML elements are. Then we look at HTML tags. We also have the structure of the HTML. We explain the structure. Then we just know what CSS is and what JavaScript is. And then I will show you some few code editors, so any of them you can use to do this coding. And then we also create a simple web page. So let's see what HTML is. Now, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Okay, it is a standard markup language for creating web pages. Take note, HTML, it is not a programming language, it is a markup language. It's more like something that you use to create structures. Okay, so it is a markup language. HTML describes the structure of a web page, just to give you a structure, so it will just mark up the structures for you. It consists of series of elements. We will explain the elements to you. HTML elements tells the browser how to display the content. So within each element, it will tell the browser what type of content to be displayed. HTML element label pieces of content, such as this is a heading, this is a paragraph, this is a link. So it will give you what aspect of the content is and to be displayed on the web page. The commands or the keywords of HTML are called tags. So we'll also be looking at this one too. Now, what is an HTML element? An HTML element is defined by a start tag, and then we have some content and an end tag. Okay, so we have a start tag, then we put some elements or some content between the start and then the end tag. Now the start tag, this is how we have it. You can have the start tag and you have the content, and then the end tag is this way. The HTML element is everything from the start tag to the end tag. Now this is an example of how it looks like. Okay. Now, what are HTML tags? HTML tags represent the various elements in the HTML document. So we have the first tag is known as opening tag. That's opening. It's just like having an open bracket and a closed bracket, and the end tag is known as a closing tag. So the end tag is preceded by a slash. So you have it in this format. Now there are two types of tags. We have the container tags and we have the empty tags. The container tags have a start tag and an a close tag. This is how a start tag looks like, and then a close tag too. So it's just the same thing that you write between these angle brackets, but the difference is that with the start tag you will type the element, and then you with the end one you just put a slash there. So this is how to differentiate it. With the empty tag, it only has one opening tag or only a start tag. It doesn't have a close tag. So this is an example. IMG, it doesn't have a close tag, and then HR does also have that one. Then BR also doesn't have us. IMG to get an image, and HR for a horizontal line, and BR for to break lines, give a space between lines. Then let's look at the structure. So basically, this is how the structure of HTML looks like. It is just like building a skeleton, and after that you put the skin on the skeleton, put some clothes, and then after that you let the structure that you built to react. So that is why we have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, so we'll be looking at this one soon. Now this is the structure. In the recent times we have what we call HTML5. Is the current version. So if you are using the structure of HTML5, you started with this one, doc type HTML. So you're saying that the type of the document is an HTML. Otherwise, you can just start from HTML and end with HTML. So this is the bigger bracket of the HTML. So the HTML is here, and you close it here. So now everything will fall within this HTML. Now within the HTML we have the head and then the head. So you open head and then you give a page, what you call a title there. Within the body you can have a header and you can have a footer within it, or you can have the content of the body within that one. So body opens here, body opens, and we have content that comes under that. Okay, so let's see what these things stand for. The doc type HTML is simply a declaration that defines this document is an HTML file, just like I said. Then HTML element is the root element of the HTML page, so that's the root element. So you have to open that one and close it, then everything will now come between those two tags. Now then we have a head tag. The head element, it contains meta information about the HTML page. Okay, so within that you can have the title. Within the head tag you can also have a styling within that one. Okay, so the head tag, so we have the title element. It specifies a title for the HTML page, which is shown in the browser's title bar or in the page tab. So anytime you open the page, you realize it's written at the title bar to show you the page that you are within. You can have about us, contact us, those things are the title or the home or index, something like that. Then the body element defines the document's body, and it's a container for all the visible content such as headings, paragraphs, images, hyperlinks, tables, lists, footers, and all those things. When we say H1 element, it is a what do you call it? Element that defines a large headings. So we have more like fonts. We have H1 to H6. H6 is the lowest font. So when you want to type a text and you want to use a lower font, you can use H6. Otherwise, if you use H1, you are making a bigger font. Then P is for a paragraph. So if you want to type a series of text, you can use P to define that one. Right. Now, what is CSS? CSS is the language we use to style a web page. It stands for cascading style sheets. It describes how the HTML elements are to be displayed on screen paper or in other media. CSS saves a lot of work. It can control the layout of multiple web pages all at once. External style sheets are stored in CSS files. Now, we will just do a few of the CSS, but in our next video we'll be delving deep into CSS and then JavaScript. Now, CSS is just a styling, what you call a part of the HTML structure. So imagine you build a house. You start with the concrete and then the blocks are laid there. Then after that you start to plaster it and then start painting or putting some tiles on it. These painting and tiling and all these things are like the CSS. So yes, like beautifying this. Okay. Then when you talk about JavaScript, JavaScript is like allowing this page to now interact with the user. So if you want it to interact with the user, then you use JavaScript. Okay. Right. Now so let me just go back to it. I'll come back to this page. JavaScript is a scripting or programming language that allows you to implement complex features on web pages. So imagine every time a web page does more than just sit there and display static information. So if you're watching a page, you just open, just like I'm opening this page here, these images here are static. Okay, now if the images start to, or the text are static, they're just static. Now if they tend to move, if you observe the beginning of this page, some of my text were moving, so it makes it interactive to me. So when you see that a web page is interacting with the user of the website, then it means a JavaScript that has been used there. CSS beautifies it, then JavaScript makes it much interactive. So displaying timely content updates, interactive math, animated 2D or 3D graphics, scrolling video joke boxes, etc. are the work of JavaScript. Now it is a 10 layer of the layer cake of standard web technologies. So two of which is the HTML and CSS. So we start with HTML, then we beautify it with CSS. Then we use JavaScript to make the web page interactive, so it will now interact with the user. Okay, so we have what we call some code editors. These are used to create your website. So these are some common ones here. Mostly Notepad is used, Sublime Text. Okay, so these are some of the Notepad, what do you call it, plus. There are a lot of code editors that you can use to do this, but the common one is Notepad. Notepad is common. in almost every what they call it application, operating system. Notepad is common, or you can see text editor, you can get it there. So we are going to use Notepad to create it, so you don't need to have an issue if you don't have any of these text editors. So let's go and then start creating our simple web page. We will create 2 web pages and link them up. Okay, so let's go to our text editor. So before you create your website, you need to do something here. You need to get images that you want to display on your website. You can get images to serve as a banner, the whole page taking that, and you can also get a logo to serve as your logo. That is if you've created your own logo. So most of the times we want to use colors to just be the main feature of our web page. Sometimes we want to use a picture to be the main feature, so that's what we're going to do. So before you do that, you have to create maybe a folder. So I'm calling this folder lesson 1, and then I'll put my pictures inside it. If you want, you can create a folder and put the pictures inside that. But in this video, we're going to create an HTML website with CSS. Now there are 2 types of CSS. Like I said, we'll be dealing this deep in our next video. We have the what we call inline CSS, and then the attached CSS. The inline CSS is built whilst you are building the HTML structure. You can do it within it. And then the attached one, you can do it separately, and then you attach it to the the HTML structure. So I can create a folder here. Let me create a small folder here and call it CSS. So we come into this folder and then create a file inside. So for now, we're going to create main HTML page, and we save it inside this. So what we do is to open Notepad. So I'm going to open Notepad. So I have the Notepad here. I'm going to make my text a little bit bigger so we can see clearly. This will do. So now what you do is that the first thing that we're creating is an index page. The index page is the main page. Then other pages will come and link to it. So I'm going to save this into my folder, which is called what do you call it, lesson 1. So I have it somewhere here, so I'll save it here. So I'll give the name here index.html. Take note, we are dealing with an HTML file, so you end it with HTML. So save it here. Alright, so it is saved in that folder. Now if you go to that folder, it is going to use one of the browsers that you have available in your computer to display that one. So let's take a look at that one. So right now, after saving it, you can see that it is taking this Edge browser to display that for me. So when you save it with index.html, it will display this for you. But if you save it as a text, it wouldn't be displayed this way. It will save it with the text editor. Alright, so let's go and continue our code. So like I said, if you want to use currently we are using HTML5. So if you want to start with HTML5, you need to start with this code. You type doc, exclamation here, you type doc type, okay, then you put HTML, then you close it. That's all, just to say that you are dealing with HTML5. Otherwise, you just start with HTML. This with HTML. This is the main one, and you close it. Remember, we talked about open and close. So this is the open tag, and this is the close tag. So I'm going to click between this and press enter, so I can get space here. And within this, I'm going to put some contents here, some other elements. Now, the first element you need to put here is the head. So we are dividing it into different structures, okay? And the head too, you can open and close it because it is what do you call it, a container tag. So open it this way. So we have open head and then close head. Then within the head, we have what we call title. You can open that one too and do it this way. Now with this, you can break it or you can leave it there. So here I can just put a title there, my cars, something like this. So that's the title there. Then within this again, within the head, you can put a link. So if you want to do inline what you call the CSS, you put it in there, or if you want to do attached CSS, you can also put it there to attach. So we are going to do attached CSS. So we just type here what you call a link, then we type rel is equal to, then we are dealing with a style sheet. Okay, then the type of it is it is a text CSS. This is how we do it. Now we've not created a CSS yet, so but we're going to create it and then we'll give it a name. So I'll say href. Href means we are linking to that CSS file that we're creating. So we say CSS because I've created a folder inside it. Then inside that folder we're going to create something called style sheet. Then it is a CSS file, so .css. Then we close it. So this will the related type is a style sheet. I mean the type of file here is a CSS. That's a cascading style sheet. Okay, it is a text that we are or a CSS file. Then we go to href means what do you call it? That's the hyperlink reference. So it will reference us to a folder, and inside that folder we are going to create a file called stylesheet.css. Okay, so this is how to link to that style sheet that you have in your project. Now another way of doing it, if you are building inline CSS, you just type here style and then you close it and type style. So all these place here, between this style and this style, you can type all your styles within this place. But in this case, if you are going to create a separate style sheet outside, then you have to use this one to link to that style sheet, and then you go to that style sheet and do your styling inside it so that it affects this structure here. So but for here, I can get rid of this one or I can leave it there. So I'll leave it just for you to see how it is. So we are not putting anything here. Then after the head, we then create what we call body. So remember, the body contains all the contents of the what do you call it, the page. So inside the body we have two structures. We have the header and we have, so let me close this one, header. Let me break that one down. So inside the body we have a header, then down here we also have a footer. The footer is usually where you go and then type copyright, maybe designed by. So I can type here what do you call it, designed by, then I type the name of the company that created it. So we are done with the footer, we don't need anything here. So let's go back to the header. Okay, so inside this header we are going to divide it so that we can go there and put our logo, and we'll put some tabs so that the user can go and click on the tab. So we can divide it. So HTML also have a couple of codes that we use for division. Okay, we will be starting with the common ones, then in our next video we'll be doing more on different way of dividing your page. So we are going to use what we call div. So div we open and close to divide. Now I want to divide it. I want us to have two div. One is going to be for our logo and the other one is going to be for our what do you call it, tabs. So when you go to home or about us or contact us. So let's start with the first div. So I'm going to break this one down. Now this div, I'm going to give it a class. We'll be talking about classes. A class to show that this is about logo. So I'll call it logo. So wherever I'm looking to do some styling on the logo, I have to refer to this word here so that it will help me do that styling on it. So the class is logo. Now we can come inside it and now search for our image. So you type img, then you put src. Src is the source. So where is your image located? It's located in my folder, the same folder that is there, and the name of that file is called logo.jpg. So let's go to our folder and I'll show you that logo. Right, so inside this folder you can see there's a folder here, a picture here called logo. So this picture, let's check what type of file it is. So it is a JFIF file. It is not a JPEG file. Okay, I needed something that is a JPEG file. Okay, so let me see if I can get another logo that is what I can do here, I can change this, format this one to become a JPEG file, or I can leave it as a JFIF. As you can see, it's written a JFIF. So I'm going back to my code to do that one. So here, instead of a JPEG picture, it is a JFIF. So JFIF picture. So I'll do it that way. Right? Then I can style this image here and then say let's say width. Then you can put 100%. Oh sorry, let's make the height, let's make it just 50 pixels. The height of the picture 50 pixels. We can also put something called alt. So if the picture is not loading, this word should be displayed. So this word should be displayed, the logo. Then we close it like this. So this is how to display our image there. Alright, so we are done with this div here, and this is about displaying our logo. We are going to create another div. So here we're going to break it down, and the class of this div, so class, this is we can call it tabs, okay, or just anything at all. So let me see, let me call it main. I can call it main. I'll call it main, something like this, and I'll come inside there. Here we are going to put lists of tabs. Okay, so we have something we call UL. UL stands for unordered list. So UL. Then inside the UL, we can create a list. So take LI. Let's open and close it. LI. So this will give me a list. Now we need to put what we call the anchor tag. It is more like a button that will help us to click on it. So there we also open within this list, we put A, then close the A. So this is what we do. Then now for the first anchor tag, which is the A here, this is the open one, this is the closed one. These two are within this line here, as you can see there. So for the first one, we're going to go in here. Anytime we want to style something, we go to the open tag and do the styling within there. So we are also going to do some styling here. So we're going to do something called href. This will give us a link to a page that we want to link up with. So we type href. Then between this and that, we will just type, so this will be our home page. So we'll type your home. Now I'm going to repeat the same thing. So I'll just highlight and copy and paste it down here. Paste it and paste it. Let me just have 5 of them. So this one, I will call it maybe services, or just say services. Okay, services. And this one I'll call it gallery, and this one I'll call it about, that is about us. And the last one I can call it contacts, so to contact us. Alright, so this is how the structure of the CSS, the HTML is. So we have the HTML open and it is closed here. That's the main one that you open. So when you open it that way, Then within it you have a head and a head. Now within the head element we have other elements that can be placed inside there. The first element that we can put is our title. After the title, then we look at the type of CSS we want to do. Do we want to do attached CSS or an inline CSS? If we want to do inline CSS, we work with it here, we do it here within this place. But if you have a CSS outside this text here, we have to create another CSS and then we go and link it and call it from this place to come here. So we do that one very soon. Let's go and watch our page here. But before that, outside the header, I can put something like H1 and another H1. I told you if you want to type a text, you can use this font size, which is H1, and H1 is the highest text. So we just type a statement there, what do you call it, beginner's guide to HTML, let me say it's HTML, CSS, and Javascript. So this is a big title that we are doing there. We can also go down here and put something like this, P, because all these things falls within the body. See, so that is the body contains the content. Okay, so we can put a P and then open, close, P again. So here is like a paragraph. I get it. So I'm just going to paste a series of text here. So we just got some series of text. I'm going to paste it here. So it is from the P. Let me just break this one down. So we see this is the P open and this is the close one. So this stands for a paragraph. So when we are typing a paragraph, we put them between P open and the P close. Now this one, I want us to save this and go back and see what, and then go and run our website, our web page, and see what we have. Okay, so we have our head, then we have our body open. This is the body open and close down here. Now within the body we have the first thing to take is the header. So the header is opened, and within the header we can have our logo, we can have our tabs. So that is why we've ended the header here. Then under the header you can put other content like the content. You can even put another div and call that part content. So you put the other things that you want to do there. Alright, so anytime you do this, you remember we save it as index.html. So if you edit anything, what you do is to click here and click save. So it is saved, then you now go and run it from the page. So let's go to the page and run it. So this is our HTML page, so I'm going to open it. So let me make this one bigger. So look at it here. So we have our logo, we have our tabs, which if we click it takes us to another page. Right now it is not linked to anything, so we cannot get it. When you click on it, you only see the hashtag because we've indicated it in there. Then we have our title, which is the H1, and this is our paragraph. Then this is our footer. So all these things will be styled so that they will fill up the face, move to the exact place they should be. Okay, so our structure is built. So it's like having the foundation and the blocks, they are built. Now what we're going to do is to put some styling. So we're going to do some basic styling here, and then in our next video we will add the JavaScript and other features to make it much more attractive. So let's go back and build our CSS. Alright, so here I'm going to create a new file. So just click here and select new. Now this file I'm going to save it as, let's go back to the folder, and I'm going to the CSS folder. Now this time, remember we named our CSS as style sheet .css. That's the name we are giving it. So when we make it .css, it is a different file from the .html. Okay, so we save it here. So we are going to make something. The web page has what you call it, margins here, and then so to do that we can push it a little bit, making sure that everything is in the center. So to do this, what we can type is, we start by typing, and we use these curly braces when we are doing our CSS files. So to build the CSS file, we start with this curly brackets here, go inside it. Now we are going to make sure the margins are what do you call it, of the whole web page is in the center. So you type this margin and you put 0, and this is how we put a comma. This is the comma when we are dealing with CSS. Then you put padding. Also, let's make that one 0. So this is the first thing we need to do. Now I want us to put a background. If you look at our web page, we don't have anything here that makes it attractive. It's just plain white. Meanwhile, within this web page, we can, use colors to do that one. We can use colors to be the background of our web page. So let's see how to do that one. So if you observe, the whole background start from the header. So we can type here and say header. Sorry, start from the body. So it's within the body, so we'll do this way. So then we type background color. We're going to put a white color. So no, not white color. Let's put a teal color. You can write red, the word red there. This way. Let me save this and then run the page and see what will happen. So the color is not responding. Let me go back and check on it. Let me put a color like, we have color codes. So let me see, 008080. I think this will be teal background color. So let's save this and then run our page again, refresh. So this is it. So I've used a background color to do this one. You have different color codes to do that one. But if you don't want to use the color code, you can write the name of the color there. So here I can use, without the hashtag, I write here red. Let me save it, then refresh it. So we have a red color. Okay, you can use this ones here to do that. So I can say blue and save it. Anytime you type, you have to save it, go back and refresh, and this is what is going on. Okay, so moving on, let's leave it to teal, or we can just write purple. I think the blue is okay. We'll leave it as the red. Now that is not our main focus. Let's see if we want to use image as our background. We can write it this way: background image. Now you type URL, open bracket, give 2 dots. So what we are saying is that it will move away from what do you call it? It will move 2 steps to go to the folder. And remember, we have a folder that we've created as CSS. So we are going out of the CSS and we go in to where the picture is and we take it. So we'll put a slash. Let's go and check what pictures we have in our folder. So let me see. I have image 1, image 2, img, img2, img3. Okay, so we're going to use this in of these ones. So let's try img1 and see. So say img1.jpg. They are all JPG pictures. Okay, then you close it and you put the comma here. Now let me save this and then we run it and see what will happen. So right, so this is how it is. This is the image here. Okay, this is the image. So, but to make sure the image is perfectly fixed, you need to add some code. So let's go back to it. So you have background color. Now the color is being covered with the image, so we don't need it. But if you want to do it, this is how you do that. Now you type background image, URL, then give 2 dots. Make sure the images are in the same folder as your index page. Then you type the name of the image, and then the type of image it is. If it is JPEG or PNG or any other type, then you do that, then you close it with this bracket. Now we want to fill the whole place, so we can type this one and say background, sorry, you can say height, and the height is, let's make it 100 VH, vertical height, and then it should cover all. So background size, we want it to be a cover, so any aspect of it should cover it. We can also do this background position, it should be in the center. Please take note of the spelling. All spellings are to go by the what do you call it, the American spelling. So just like color here, the UK is OUR, but here, and then the center is not TRE, it's TER. Okay, so let's save this one and then go back to refresh it. So now the image is centered and it has covered the whole page here. So this is how to use an image as your background color. Alright, so let's go and see what we need to style next. Now from our HTML structure, I'm going to open it. Right now we are on the CSS page here, so let me open it. So to open this, you just right click, open with Notepad. This is how our structure is. This structure of the HTML is. So we did the body and we style the body, so we can pick each of these to style it. Let's style the main. Okay, I mean within the main, let's style the UL. Okay, we are going to style the UL so that this list will be displayed very well for us. So let's go back to our CSS. So we can type here UL. Now currently the lists, let's go back and I'll show you how it is. Look at where they are. Okay, we want them to move to the right hand side. Okay, and then we then begin styling the what do you call the on. This is the UL. You see, this is the UL, the dot that we have there. It's like bulletin. Are you getting it? So we're going to move them to this side, and then we will take off the bullets. These are styles, so we take it off. Then we now come in. These ones are the list, because home, this and that. These are the list. That is where we did the tags and then the href there with the anchor tags. So we first of all have to do the UL, and within the UL we're going to style the list. So let's go back to our code editor. So UL, so we say float. We are floating it to the right. So let's save this and then refresh our page and see. So it moved from here and it is at our right hand side, but still the styles are still here. These bullets are here. So to get rid of the bullets, you can see what you call list style should be none. You don't want any style here. So let's save this and refresh it. So they are gone. Now we're going to style the list itself. So now remember, the list is within a UL. So let me go to the HTML code. You see, this is the UL, and this the open UL and the close UL. So within the UL there is a list in it. So how do we do that when we are styling it? So what we do is that we type UL and we type LI. So it shows that LI is within UL. Then we open our curly brackets here. So the first thing we're going to do is let's see the display style is inline block. Let's see how the inline block looks like. It's going to be in a linear format. So let's go back to our page, refresh. Sorry, let's go back and see if we've saved it well. So UL display, sorry, we just start display, not display style, display. So let's go back and refresh it. So it is in a linear format. Now what we're going to do is that we try to add some designs around the button so that it will be easy to click and move over them. So let's go and do that one. So we move down here. Now we will say UL because we have displayed the lists, and the lists are the home, the services, and the gallery. The inside the list, we have buttons, and the buttons are the anchor tags, the E. So let's go back to the HTML. Let me show you something. This is what we have. We have a UL. Inside the UL we have a list. The list are this, the home that we have there. Then inside the list we have an anchor tag like this. So we're going to make this one, it is a button, so we have to make it look like a real button so we can click on it. So to do that again, remember we said UL, and Lee is inside UL, and A is also inside the Lee. So this is how we do the styling. So we'll be doing more of styling in our next subsequent video, so don't worry about that. Just remember to subscribe to this channel, and then you will get to learn more about these things. So we're going to say text decoration. We don't need any decoration on the text, so let's just the text, just say none. Now, what color should we use? Let's use a white color. Let's use a white color. Let me see this one and refresh it, and then we'll see. So the text is now white color, as you can see there. Back to our styling. Then we have to give them spacing, so we call it padding. So we type padding, and we're going to do it by a 5 pixel and then 10 pixel. It's like a box that we want to put there. Okay, let me go back to the page after saving. So we are giving them space, and the space between this and that, this is the space that we are giving them, so that we can put boxes around them. So let's go back to our code. Now, next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put some borders around it. We're going to put some borders around the button. So we'll say border, let's say 1 pixel, and then the borders should be a solid, let's use a solid white. So this is the code for white. So the border should be solid white color. Okay, but the thickness should be 1 pixel, and it's really a solid white color. So let's check that out. So you can see this, a solid white, what do you call it, around the buttons. Right. Now, what we're going to do is that when we move the we will move what do you call it, our mouse pointer over it. We'll be doing hovering, but when we are changing from one button to another, we call it transition. The transition, let's make it 0.6 seconds. It should be ease. This, you wouldn't be able to see anything active on it, but you see the mouse pointer, it is moving smoothly. I think if you are designing it and you are holding it, you will feel it that way. Let's go and show you what that means. Now we are going to talk about when we put our mouse pointer over it, we need some actions to be done on it. Maybe the color can be changing. So it is still the UL, the Lee, and the A, but inside the A we are going to put something called hover. Hover is when you put your mouse over something. It's called hovering. So hovering, if we hover over it, the background color should be white. It should change to white. That's the button. When we put our mouse pointer over it, it should be white. But the color of the text should change to black. Black is 00. So these are sample code that you need to remember. To put a white color, you use FF. If you put a black color, you put 00. Okay. So when you hover over it, it should change. The background should be white, and the text that is on it should change to what do you call it? White. I mean black. Okay. But if you are moving from one button to another, it should move easily by 6 seconds. So let's go and check that out. So there we go. So when I put it on, it changes to black, I mean white background, black color. And now if I'm moving, you see how slow it goes. You see that? So this is how to change that out. Okay, so basically we've done this part of the styling. Okay, now let's see what we can do to our text that we've typed in there. Okay, now we have our let me see my HTML structure. I have this, and then we have a page here. We have a page and we have a title. So let's do something on the title and see. Now we've typed there, so we look at the title. Okay. So I'm going to do the styling, and the title is within the body. So let me see what we've done. We give some classes. I want to make sure I know the class. Oh, this is main and this is that. Okay, page. Okay, and then h1. So we can style the h1, and the h1 is within the body. Sorry, this is how to do. Let's style the title. We can say position is absolute. Let me save this and we'll go back and refresh and see the effect of the title. So let's see. Yeah, so absolute. Now it is the content is pushing up, so no problem. We're just going to finish up the styling, and then we see absolute. And then let's change the color to white. Let me save this and then we look at it. Let's concentrate on the title. This is what we're working on. Okay, all right. Then it should be the top. Let's make it 10%. We save this, we look at it. As we type, we have to be looking at it to see what we are doing. So we are moving it away. Let me see, 10%. Let's make it 30 and see. Okay, so I think 30 is okay. Yeah, so we'll come to the page. So because we're not doing anything to the page and then the footer, that's why they are moving up. So let's go back to our code, and then left, it should move to the left. Maybe let's make it 50% and save that. Okay, I think it's too much. That's going up too much, so let's make it maybe also 40 and see. I'm just moving it so we can get it. I think this is a bit okay, or maybe we can make both 30-30 so that it will be perfect for us. Save it. Let's see. Right, this is okay. Now we are going to, think about how it transforms. This will be explained. So make it negative 10% and then negative 50%. Let's save this and see the effect of that. Okay, this is perfect. So we're just trying to make sure we fix it in a perfect position. That is what we're doing right now here. All right, so let's go to the paragraph and see what we can do to the paragraph. So that one is a P. Sorry, P. So we're going to start the page content. So that position to, let's make that one to absolute. I'm saving this one. Let me check it out. So we are dealing with the page now. Now the design, how do you call it? The footer is going up. We will also do the footer too. So let's go on. And now we look at let's give it a color. We can use white. Okay, so we're using white also over there. And let's see. I think I can just copy this one for the same paragraph here. Save it. Let's go around it. So it's the same thing. So the paragraph here, but I think they are all in the same direction. So let's change the numbering to Maybe this one will go down to 50, this one to 50. Save. Right, so it has moved so far. So left, maybe we'll make the left 30. This is, yeah, this is okay. Right, so we're going to look at the footer. Just come here. Just copy this one, paste it here, but I'll change this to footer. And this one, we make this one left. So let's make this one 40. This one will be 20. Let me save this and we'll see what we have there. So the footer is still here. Left is there, so we'll keep moving the top aspects of it. That's 70. So it's going down. I think it should be more, maybe 100 will do. Save. We just want it to go to the button, so it is down here. And the left, you can come to the left or the right, so it doesn't matter. We can change it to right. With the left we can increase it to maybe 50. It will move more. So the center is okay here. So this is how we can style our page. Okay. Alright, so this will do for the first part of this video. In our next video we'll be looking at more on CSS and JavaScript, so that it will be relating to our web page, and we'll also see how we can create another web page. So when we click on these buttons, it will take us to that page. Okay. All right, so on this note, I'll say goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Okay, like the video and drop a comment down below, and don't forget to take care of yourself. Stay safe. Bye for now.